This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Hello, fellow co-hosts.
All right.
Hello, America. How is everyone? Well, it's so easy to look back at this past year and focus on all the bad news. And
Let's do it.
let's be real, there's a ton of it. From the war in Ukraine to Israel and Hamas, there were fires that ravaged entire towns. And don't ever forget, there were the hurricanes that left billions of dollars in damage behind. It was also a very, very tough year economically, with inflation hurting millions, a former president facing more than 90 criminal counts, and an election that seems destined to end in even more division. So today, we're not going to focus on any of that. Yay! Instead, we wanted to share the good news stories that have us excited. So get ready to listen to some good news, bring some joy to your morning. Jeffrey Schroeder, what brought you joy?
The story of Damar Hamlin, obviously him not getting injured didn't bring me joy by any means, but his story captivated people that don't even watch football.
Yes.
And I'm a huge football fan, so obviously for me, I was a little more invested about his injury and how he came back this year and he's playing again. But more than that, the type of person he is, right? His charity raised in 24 hours. He had Hamlin's Toy Drive for kids, raised roughly $5.5 million in donations in 24 hours. After he was injured. So people got to see who this guy was. Like, wow, who is this guy? Wow, he's a really good guy. And people jumped on board. He's embracing that, you know, instead of shaming the sport, he's like, hey, I'm still playing the game. This is the game I love because that's the game I love and it taught me a lot. But now at this point in my life, it teaches me more about the person you are, and who he is a great representation of what I want my children to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about Damar Hamlin, and then you taught me about the toy drive, and then I saw these scholarships he's also giving out for every single person on that team that helped him.
On the medical team.
The medical team that came to him within seconds, and had they not been trained, he would have died. The man, when he gave them, I think it was the ESPYs, he hugged the main medical man that gave him CPR for like minutes and just sobbed on stage at the award show. So I totally loved Damar.
Incredible human being.
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
Erica, what's your story that's bringing you joy?
Well, this year, for the first time ever, there's 2 treatments to help with people who have sickle cell. And for people who don't know, sickle cell is an inherited blood disorder. It's affected by defective hemoglobin, which effectively brings oxygen to the blood. It predominantly affects African Americans. About 100,000 Americans live with sickle cell. My family is affected by sickle cell. I'm also a carrier. I think people should know if they are, especially if you're looking to have children. This also affects, for modern fertility, a lot of Black women who want to have a donor be a Black man. They run into this issue because the donor pool could also have Black men who have the trait, are carriers as well. So this technology is absolutely amazing. It'll help so many people. About 20,000 Americans are eligible to receive it. It is very costly, but it also, to me, kind of marks a little bit of bridging the gap in medical disparity when it comes to science and medicine and who it's provided to.
It's a very, very, very good point.
Yeah.
A huge breakthrough using CRISPR, the gene editing
They're saying
tool.
it's basically a cure.
Yeah, it's a cure, and it's the first, I believe, FDA CRISPR-used tool. So this is incredible.
I remember studying sickle cell in graduate school, and just like I never understood the name, and it's because the blood cells, which are obviously circular, they form like a sickle, almost like a crescent moon. So you think about those moving through your bloodstream, it's extremely painful.
Yeah.
And so just the quality of life
Right.
is big. And speaking about quality of life, Erica, about a year and a half ago, Dr. Coley sat right where Jeff is, and she was telling us about these new weight loss drugs, which now it's on everybody's lips, but it wasn't a thing. And I was really taken back, because usually the new weight loss drug, that's when the doctor comes in and goes, let's not be silly. It's exercise. But like she was saying, that this might be something to be excited about. And as a cardiologist, I felt her excitement. And now here we are a year and a half later with Ozempic, and seeing how it's changed people's lives, and how it, obesity affects 100 million Americans, leads to heart disease, diabetes. My father passed from complications from diabetes. It affects a lot of people's families. And I just think that this may be something we look back on as a changing point in terms of like human life expectancy. This is a big deal, Tor. I know a lot of people talk about the cosmetic effects.
Right, but it's personal to you as well about your father. I didn't really realize that.
Yeah. What about you?
I am really excited because today at the United Nations Climate Summit in Dubai, I want to get this right, diplomats from nearly 200 countries approved a global pact that calls for transitioning away from fossil fuels. Okay, this is today. The deal calls on countries to triple the amount of renewable energy, quit adding carbon dioxide to the atmosphere entirely by mid-century. So all of this that we're talking about is all well and good, but if we don't have a planet to be on, I'm just so thankful we are turning towards climate change and climate change agenda as a real issue that we need to take on head on, and the world is coming together. It's a big moment for union and for unity, really. So I'm very, very, very excited for this. And also this year, the tiny Caribbean island, just to give you a little bit more of Dominica, created the world's first marine protected area for sperm whales.
How do they do that?
I guess it's a reserve in the water.
But I know, but then how do they get the whales to get there, come there and stay there?
They say, psst, come here.
I don't think you know. I don't think you know.
It will protect the animals, but also will help fight climate change.
I say it all the time, like looking at these stories that we're covering, you know, we have to cover the bad stuff, but without people like Damar Hamlin doing the quiet stuff, he had that going before he got hurt. It's like this whole thing doesn't work. So it's just the good people are really quiet.
Yes, and if you do use your eye to pick up what you always say, more joyous things will come into your life. It's what you concentrate on.
That's not a saying.
Yeah, it is. You say it. The more you concentrate.
You use your eye to pick up more joyous things?
Yeah, you always say.
Then more joyous things will come into your eye.
I do have that on an ornament at home.
Yes.
It's just an eyeball.
Can you explain?
That's picking up joy.
Can you explain
No,
it
can
then?
you explain it?
I mean, the more you focus on things that bring you joy, more joy will be in your life. The more you concentrate on that. Am I wrong? Isn't that something you say all the time?
I get what you're getting at.
Can you
if you focus on the positive, more positive things will come. I don't know if you joyous pickups lines.
I think mine was really more elegant and eloquent. Very hot. Coming up on DBL, our interview with Shark Tank. Speaking of sharks, Robert Herjavec. Is there a product he passed on that he regrets? And Southwest is celebrated for its inclusion policy, giving plus-size travelers a full row. Are you on board with this idea? Stay tuned for that. So Tori says we are at the whale reserve. I don't know how they tell the whales to come.
Maybe it's a place where they can't be hunted.
I think they're on verge of they need to create more in their species for sure.
It's like a whale Twitter.
It's a whale. Whale, come on down.
I'll say this just in terms of how we were talking about just the weight loss drugs and the sickle cell. It's I love that we have religion and things that guide us and guide our moral compass, but I always want people to keep in mind, as it pertains to Damar Hamlin as well, that medical technology, because we always say, thank God.
Yeah.
And yes, obviously, we are all hoping and praying there's a higher power, but there's also incredible breakthroughs by our medical teams that are allowing us to cover. Because I remember texting with Jeff and our old stage manager, David, the night that Damar got hurt, and I was just like, we just watched a guy die on TV.
And come back.
And so the fact that he lived and played again, and we get a chance to tell his story not in a memoriam, is just such a big deal. Like things that I studied in graduate school 15 years ago. I know. Tori's like, yes.
Back in the old days.
Before there were doors on the buildings.
They also said that children who have inherited certain cancer genes now might have a injection or shot to help them. So if they have the BRCA gene, for instance, or certain other genes, there might be preventative measures to help those people with inherited genes. That's also a huge breakthrough. I can't underestimate or undersell CRISPR. It's CRISPR. There's no E. And it takes genes. Yeah, it's like an app. And it takes genes that you don't want and literally cuts it, takes them out, and literally genetically edits your DNA so you are cured. It's incredible, and it's not.
It's like that movie Gattaca.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The whole time I've been asked, like, hearing him, like, getting me.
got to get better posture. Everyone sit up straight. All right. Welcome back to DBL. What are you supposed to do if you can't fit in your airline seat? Do you have to buy an extra one? Well, it turns out some airlines, like Southwest, have a very body-inclusive policy. So here's a plus-size traveler explaining it all. Take a look.
Southwest actually offers 2 different ways to get a free extra seat if you need one because of your body size. Option 1, pay for 2 seats up front just to reserve 2 seats for you on the plane. And then once your trip is over, call Southwest's customer service number and they'll refund you for that extra seat even if the flight was full. Option 2, just buy 1 ticket and then go to the airport when it's time for your flight. At the gate, let the agent know that you need an extra seat because of your size.
What do we think of Southwest's new policy?
I think the first part of it is great. You know, if you buy 2 seats up front and you end up really kind of not using it, you know, because it's just you, I think them refunding is a great way. It's a great way to mitigate an imperfect situation, you know, because we talk about body inclusivity. We also try and focus on the passenger next to you, but also Southwest or any of the other carriers, they're a business and they're trying to turn a profit. And over the course of thousands and thousands of flights a day, that will affect their bottom line. So I think this is a good, the first one was a good middle ground.
I think the fact that the point that you made that they're a business and they're trying to turn a profit, but they're offering this really speaks to what we're looking at in terms of the demographic of their customers. Because if it comes down to the idea that you have made your seats so small that the quote average sized person can't even find comfort in them, it tells you that they're losing business or it's affecting their business in some way,
so they
that
had
they
to
would
change.
actually refund a ticket or a seat even though only one person was technically the passenger. So I think that this is a business move. It's reflective of our society. I don't see how it affects everyone else in terms of being the customer unless the flight was so full that you had to get in, you missed the flight and whatever else. But ultimately, the only person it's really affecting, in my opinion, is the person who is going to be responsible for paying for those 2 seats and then asking for a refund and hoping to get one.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm notorious for bashing airlines, and I do want to say Southwest does put customers first as far as airlines go. So I like what they're trying to do with this. I'm just worried about people taking advantage. I don't want someone sitting next to me. I'm 6 foot, 200 pounds. That's tight for me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm barely getting in there. So if you're a little bit bigger than me, you could use this and say, I just want a little extra leg room. And you know what? Reimburse me. So it's everything. I like their idea, but then people taking advantage of this, just like the dogs on the plane, just like everything else, people are going to take advantage of it and they're going to end up taking it away. And again, if you don't take advantage of this and someone next to me is 400 pounds and they're encroaching in my seat, do I get to write Southwest and say, hey, you know what? I want half of my ticket back because you gave half of my seat away. So there's a lot of, I appreciate what Southwest is doing. I don't want to bash them about that. But again, I think people are going to take advantage and ultimately
that's what I was saying. It's the best of a situation in which everybody's perspective is going to be different, including the carrier. I was going to ask you, Tori, because this affects you directly. Do you think this is a PR move because of the debacle 2 Thanksgivings ago?
So that's my question. So remember exactly what we were saying in December, 2 years ago, I was not able to go to Christmas. Lost my Christmas with my in-laws and was really horrified. They kept my bags, couldn't find them for over 35 days. And I got $82 back. So when they say they will refund you, and they had thousands of customers that were stranded because of their IT, that I'm sorry, has been told over and over again, should be completely resetted, I don't think they'll get those refunds back. I think they're asking you to pay for 2 seats so that perhaps something will go wrong, because I don't trust Southwest as far as I can spit. That's how I feel about Southwest. I will never use their carrier again. They treated it as if it was like something that happened. No, it was devastating for me and my family, and I don't think this will go smoothly. I just don't, and I'm worried about it for people, because they'll buy 2 seats and maybe not see a refund. That's what worries me.
All right.
Anywho, how do you really feel? Coming up on DBL, our interview with Shark Tank's Robert Herjavec. He's telling us what popular products he would save or spend on. Stay tuned for the fun Shark.
Walking outside to a car covered in ice or snow usually means putting on some gloves, pulling out your trusty ice scraper and taking time to clear the mess, so you don't put other cars at risk, like this guy. Many people have shared at-home tricks they use to clear snow or ice from their car faster on social media. Using these sources, here are 3 things we verified you should not use to de-ice your car. No-no number 1, using hot water or homemade solutions. Pouring hot water over snow or ice might seem like an efficient way to melt the mess away, but according to the Rochester Mazda car dealership, the sudden temperature change could crack your windshield. And as for those homemade solutions, like mixing water with ammonia or vinegar, a AAA spokesperson says using any chemical solution that is not manufactured for snow removal on cars could also create small cracks and craters in the windshield, making it unsafe to drive. And they could damage your car's paint too. Next up, using the wrong tools. 1A Auto, an auto repair company, says to never use a shovel to clear snow off your car because many shovels have a metal blade or other sharp edge that will scratch your car's paint. So, what about a broom? 1A Auto says if the bristles are stiffer than a regular snow brush, that can also damage the paint. And finally, using your windshield wipers. Anco Wipers, a blade manufacturer, says making your wipers do the heavy lifting could tear the blades, making them less effective. They also say you shouldn't snap the blades to get ice or snow off. If the spring is tight enough, it can cause the wiper to crack the glass in your windshield. So, now that you know what not to do yourself a favor and find your ice scraper or snow brush before a storm hits. And be kind to your wipers. Use your defrosters to melt ice away on your windshield. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
Welcome back to DBL. He's known as the sporty shark on the hit show Shark Tank. And earlier we spoke with Robert Herjavec about the new season and some of the hottest gifts of the year. Take a look.
Don't be a wimp.
So do I just...
Yep, just lay back, get comfortable.
Robert,
Sit on the brow.
Slow breath, Robert. There you go.
Please welcome to the show, Robert Herjavec.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. They like to call me the sporty shark, I think.
That was a real reaction.
Yeah,
I know what it's like
that was
getting those
impressive.
things. But let's get to it, Robert. You're known as the fun shark because you're willing to invest in more active products, right? So how has that persona, has that ever backfired for you on Shark Tank?
No, in fact, it's the opposite. When I started doing the show, I'm a big tech guy. I started investing only in stuff I knew, big tech companies and so on. But the power of Shark Tank is consumers. The business of America is consumerism. People watch our show, they see a product, and they buy it right away. Think about that. The show runs in 56 countries.
Dang.
Nowhere else in the world does that happen.
Wow. All right, I have a question. All investors have what they call the white whale, right? What's a product from the show you regret not going in on? Do you think about it at night, Robert?
I don't think there's any product from the show I regret, but I regret not knowing Mark Cuban in 2000 when he bought the Mavericks for $285 million and not cutting me a piece of that. That I regret.
That's a very good point.
That's fair. That's fair.
Totally
now,
fair.
when you got your first job in the tech industry, you worked for free for 6 months. So what made you want to take that kind of risk, and how did you survive?
How many ramen noodles? Yes.
Lots of ramen. You know, it's funny. We were pretty poor when I was growing up, and I have a classical English literature degree, and I had no idea what I wanted to be. I wanted to be an FBI agent. I wanted to be a film producer. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be everything. And I just fell into this interview for a tech job, and I had this epiphany that if I didn't get this job, my life would be over. So I just, in this incredible moment of bravado, I just talked them into hiring me, and they didn't have the budget, so I worked for free. And fortunately, I've stayed in tech my whole life, so it's worked out.
Hustle and kismet.
Fortunate is the word.
But took a lot of sacrifice and hustle. We wanted to get your take on some of the top gifts of the year, and we need you to tell us if you think we should all be spending the money on these or skip it and save. So up first, Robert, $25 for pillow slippers. Spend or save?
Spend, absolutely. Who doesn't need a good pair of slippers?
Spend, got it. How about an electric pizza oven for $900?
Oh my God, I could not love pizza ovens more. My 5.5-year-old son, I have twins, we love this thing. Pizza is a staple in the Herjavec household.
Oh,
good way to get veggies.
Okay. Veggies.
Pizza?
Absolutely not.
It's a pizza oven.
I know, but you
No,
can
we
put a lot of
understand the
veggies
concept.
on the pizza.
All right, Robert, what about an ice cream maker for $250? What do you think, Robert?
I mean, you are asking a shark, so it's all relative, right? My general tendency is to say spend on everything. Yeah, I probably would pass on that one, save on that one.
That's a good way to get vegetables.
And just a note to our producers, next time lead with the pizza oven question. You had a reaction to that. I love that.
He's an investor.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I have to ask you because, we're, as Americans, we're always shown, get into business, start your own business. And over 4 million new businesses are created every year. But we never get any tips. So can you give our viewers some tips on how to start one and even maybe some incentive if they're kind of scared to start one?
Yeah, it's a great question. The greatest businesses that we've come across are not so much people that wanted to start a business, but people that found a problem. Instead of thinking about how to start a business, find a problem, solve a problem, the business will come out of that.
I love it. I love it, Robert. We love when you join us. Thank you so much. DBL Nation, see Robert on Shark Tank Fridays on ABC and streaming now on Hulu. Thank you again. Happy holidays. Congrats with everything, Robert. We'll be right back.
Mazel on the twins.
Thank you. Pizza oven.
Yeah.
We've all gotten a notice at some point telling us that we're eligible for some amount of money from a class action settlement. But there are social media accounts and websites dedicated to tracking these cases and highlighting when people can get money without showing any proof they're qualified for it. Which begs the question, is it legal to take part in a class action settlement if you're not really entitled to it? Our sources are class action firm Certum Group and Jeff Feldman, a law professor at the University of Washington School of Law. Class action settlements are complex because they typically require administrators to send out small payments to millions of people. To make things simple, Feldman said the courts often don't require class members to show proof of purchase to claim small amounts because who really keeps receipts from years ago?
It's a way in which people who may have been economically harmed by the conduct but can't prove it with a receipt can get some compensation. Now, under no circumstances is compensation supposed to go to individuals who don't qualify for class participation.
But that doesn't prevent people from trying to take advantage of the system to make a quick buck. The potential risk? Being charged with fraud or perjury, and that's noted on the websites promoting no-proof settlements. According to Feldman, it's unlikely you'll be caught for claiming a one-off settlement you're not entitled to. He and the Certum Group say the larger issue are bots from organized crime groups.
When they have to sort out hundreds of thousands of phony claims, that jacks up the cost for everybody and ultimately comes out of the total amount of the settlement that's available, even for people who are entitled to it.
So, no, it is not legal to take part in a class action settlement if you aren't really entitled to it. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis. No one enjoys paying airline baggage fees, so some viral TikToks and YouTubes show some of the extreme lengths people are going to avoid them. Several show people stuffing pillowcases with their clothing because they claim pillows are exempt from baggage fees. But is that really the case? Let's verify. Are pillows always exempt from bag limits? Our sources are baggage policies at major U.S. airlines and the Transportation Security Administration. We checked policies at the nation's 11 largest airlines, and only Alaska Airlines has one that allows you to bring on a pillow without it counting against your bag limit. Spirit Airlines has a written policy that says you can only bring a pillow on board if it fits completely in your personal item bag, meaning this hack won't work. The other 9 airlines don't have a published policy specifically for pillows, although Southwest told a customer on X that, similar to Spirit, pillows need to fit inside of your bag. A Sun Country spokesperson explained that in practice, the gate agent will make the final decision, adding, "I'd encourage customers to use their best judgment." So, no, pillows are not always exempt from bag limits. It depends on the airline's policy and gate agents to enforce the policies. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. We have some creative tips when it comes to simple upgrades for your bathroom. We're talking about it in today's tips, sponsored by Jacuzzi. So first up, if you've never cleaned your shower head, try using a dental stick to remove residue from the spray holes. Or how about mounting 2 large kitchen handles vertically to a wall to create a chic towel rack? And get off your knees. It's much easier if you stick your shower mat to your shower wall to clean. If you want to start your remodel, Jacuzzi can help you do it the right way with a spa-like experience. Jacuzzi offers an unmatched, stress-free remodeling process. Visit jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 1-800-990-6834. Now, before we go, we have to give a big shout out to Dick Van Dyke, who's 98 today.
Yes.
Yes, a few days ago, he posted this video doing a little dance like he does. He said the secret to living well, just keep moving.
He looks great.
He
looks great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, shout out. What a career, what a life.
What did even from the Dick Van Dyke Show, from falling over the couch and doing all that stuff, all the way to Mary Poppins. I mean, this man is in families for generations, and he's still moving like that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And now we actually do have some sad news. This broke my heart. Andre Braugher has died at the age of 61. His reps confirmed that he passed away on Monday after a brief illness. Andre's career began starring as a Union soldier in the movie Glory alongside Denzel Washington and Matthew Broderick. He won his first Emmy for playing Detective Frank Pemberton on NBC's Homicide: Life on the Street. He then moved to comedy, where I met him with his role as the straight-laced captain Raymond Holt in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That role himself earned him 4 Emmy nominations. His co-star Terry Crews posted a tribute to him, thanking Andre for his wisdom, advice, kindness, and friendship. This man was a Juilliard-trained actor and one of the funniest human beings on earth and one of the best serious actors on the same time.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Just to play the straight man is so difficult. And I mean, he just nailed it. So all the other characters orbited around him. Well done.
We salute you, Captain Holt. DBL's new. We'll see you same time, same place.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Y'all,